class, I wanted to give you just some quick feedback on your mobile because I already gave you extended feedback on your site. By the way, I do remember the things that I tell you, okay? So just keep that in mind. I'm really looking for changes the next time I see your site, okay? And some of you have made a lot of changes, but not all of them, okay? You haven't made all the changes that were mentioned, so I do want to see those happening. Okay, summer. Great image. It looks really good at this size, too. We're losing the name of your company, though. And again, this needs to be larger. A little too much space there. Maybe your title can go here or something. Something's got to happen there. Maybe it's got a slight drop shadow under it. We're starting on your, let me go back. Home is your services. Let's just have one wedding, okay? So we want to get that clarified. Okay. I have looked through all of these already. These do work for you, but they're too small, but they do work in a slider for you, just aren't taking up the whole space, which is really important. Too small for people to see. Okay. You have 2 contact pages. Okay. Guys, make sure you check your spelling. I'm finding typos. Okay, this is working a little bit, but also just, a few there and then go to more. Okay. And we have a service page again. We have to be careful, you guys. We can't crop anything. Even if it's just the thumbnail. I know if we hit it, it would go someplace, but we can't do that. All right, so I want to see the changes made next time for everyone. And here, we're going to need, we don't want this breaking up like that, okay? So it may just have to be different for your mobile site, but we can't have it jump like that typically. This needs to be cut down if it's going to be here. It could just be a welcome. If this is a brand and you want to do it like that, that's one thing, but just keep it in mind. These work. We don't have asset guides for them, but otherwise, you do need a logo up here. Your name would be nice. These don't work with that background. They don't work for the background on the desktop either. And again, you're going to be selective, okay? Make some choices. Okay. Okay, so everybody's going to keep their site as clean as they can with 0 placeholder images from the template. This font is too lightweight, okay, for this. Okay, that's good. Okay, this works that size. Okay. Make sure on every page you include what you do because you don't know what page someone's going to find you from. Yeah, lightweight. Okay. All right. Good starts. This is overlapping. This is a little light for, it's the serifs. The strokes are too fine for that size. And this also. And as I say, I remember the things that I tell you guys generally. So please make those changes. Go back and watch the first video. These, of course, are not going to those videos. It looked good on the desktop, but it's too fine for this. That works really well for this. It's centered nicely, but it tells me there's something else here, but there isn't. Okay, let's close that up. So you need to replace the logo. Okay. Just say so we can make creative projects together, but not create creative. That's redundant. Okay. Make sure we're not putting text over text, everybody. All right. Okay. This one is working. There's space there. Space there, less space there. And now I've lost the navigation. Enjoyed that movie and this one. Okay, this will need to be disabled for now. This is fits in with your style and your brand. This not so much for that page anyway. And here's the thing, you guys, and I know you're doing this, but not everyone is. And the thing is, we have to remember that every page is designed just like your content. You're looking at your content and you're trying to make sure that it's well designed. But then after we put it on the website, sometimes that's forgotten. Let's work on this, make sure there's padding all the way around. Just bring it out. Okay, so this one worked pretty well. That layout works. I do still think that's hard to read. This is working, but we've got 3 different fonts here. So we want to fix that. The about may need to be more like this. Okay, so that needs to be disabled for the blog. Okay. John? Overlapping text and images. Let's go ahead and change this to your logo or your name. These need to be centered, right? Centered. Pretty good. Centered, and bring them up. And bring it up. Don't think that's... It's a placeholder image. This is overlapping, so we need to fix that. Disable that. Disable that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, your logo needs to go here. left align this logo or your name, bring it all up. Be great if it were right about there. Center it. Okay. Okay, disable this. All right, so everybody wants to make sure there is no placeholder text the next time I see anything. That can land a 0. By the time I see it again, you will have had 3 weeks. All right. Some people are really working hard, and some aren't thinking about it too much. If this isn't really a style, I would rather see a white rectangle with this in it in both cases. Overlapping, and don't need that here. Okay, well that's better. Okay, but let's bring this stuff up. If you want that centered, centered it, but you don't need it in both places. This can come up. And this, maybe you've got it on that black background in your desktop, but not there. Okay. So make sure that your pages are going straight to, sometimes the videos or the images are too large of a file, and so those need to be optimized. So if you have round here and oblong here and straight here, try and be consistent. Remember when you played the can't unsee game, there are details that need to be consistent. You've got a number of fonts here. We've got to get that down. Something more like this throughout, that doesn't need to be a sans serif, it's got serifs. So, yeah. And be consistent with your colors. Like this is a blue, but this leans more towards a lavender. Blue, okay. So, we've got this week, okay. This actually looks better on mobile than it did. It was very overwhelming on desktop. However, you still have a ways to go. Here you say photographer, writer, cinematographer, but on some other things, we go into, and all you need to do here is say special events and show some examples. Okay. This needs to be exactly like this. Go ahead and make it this length. Cut this down if you can, just a little. If it means you make it this size, bring that up. So here you're talking about editing. You start to talk about editing, but I don't recall that being on your first page. Again, edit, that means only have a few, especially on your mobile, 3, and make them fit into those categories that you have listed, special events. All right, so this is adorable. It's a little blown out on here, but it's adorable. And this looks like a special event. That looks like it's a special event. So does this. So this, these work for you. The one with the car, those don't seem special. This would not be horizontal, would it? That would be vertical. So this are cute, and maybe that, but you don't need all these others. People are not going to scroll, guys. And then this gets a little busy. This needs more contrast, but you need to eliminate a lot of this. All right? They can contact you if they want more information. but keep it short. Keep this really short. Really, all you need to say is services for videography and have your booking. And even that's a lot. Okay, 3-month, 4-month, that can be condensed into a 2, 3, 4-month. Okay, that can be condensed. So here you say director, script writer, and editor. So this gets different. Condense these. Just say videographer if you need to, but we've got to condense all these. You can write these down for the assets that you create, absolutely, but let's, just stick with one as far as the tagline. It just gets too long. And this is your second contact me, so the template is still an issue, I feel, for a lot of people. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Make sure text is not covering up text. You have condensed it a little bit, and that's important, super important. People will not scroll through your sites, you guys. Okay. We don't need this on 2 places. This looks good. Okay, yes. I think you're going to want to go for gray or white down here just to match your aesthetic. Okay, I liked the feel of this. The colors here look great, but I'm going to tell everybody this. When you have a thumbnail for a video, that thumbnail has to be very carefully thought. And here, I understand it's captivating, it is. But when someone is thinking of hiring you, let's say as a cinematographer or something, you have to keep your genres pretty open. That is, it's okay to love a certain genre, but you want to be hired and be a little more universal. And the reason I say this is, if somebody chooses a thumbnail that is either gory or confrontational, that is people arguing, screaming faces, things like that, the psyche, the person viewing it, is not prone to click on it. They're prone to run away from that, all right? Just biologically, it's not something that we're going to be compelled to look at. So it's one thing to have it in your video and all that, and I get the appeal. The colors work great, but sometimes it's better to find another thumbnail that is a little more neutral and still provides a little curiosity for somebody to want to click on it. And it's just simple psychology. That's all I'm saying. Again, you know your audience. If you're only going to deal with that, horror range, that's one thing. But that will really eliminate a lot of paying clients if that's the only way you go. So it's just a tip. You don't have to take my word on it. It's laid out well, and I'm cool with that. But I'd like for everybody to think about it. All right. This is working better. You still need to change and update that and this. It's working better on mobile, but you do have this twice on your desktop. Okay. And this is working well. Okay, you need to be consistent with your icons. Okay, looks like you are. Okay, never mind. Let's close that space up. Yeah, so here's where we shift. Okay, so you probably could take that off. And I'd be careful about a telephone number. I would just have a form. You don't even have to give them your email if this goes to your email, okay? And this could probably be shorter. You probably could get straight into the content right away, including this, okay? All right. It's going to come together. This is going to come together because it's all going to work. All right. Good job, you guys. I know it's an adjustment. And Curtis, Joseph, this is what I want to say. This is good, content creator and cinematographer. It's nice. I like it. I understand what it is. Maybe this should be in that, although it works on your website. But here's the thing. On your website, we need to close that up. And even here, we need to tighten that up. And we need a little more asset information. Let's not use this font. It's good that it's a sans serif, but it's too bold and it's all caps. Let's not do that. It's a fantastic image. It's in focus. The background is out of focus and it blends really well with this color. It's fantastic. Let's just, work on that text a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, so when I looked at, okay, I think this would look nice with a black and white form. Yeah, when I looked at your desktop, it's going to take a second. There was some space. We needed to close this up, right? It's a lot of scrolling for, total of 4 images. Okay? All right. But it's looking good. All right, Alex. This could be lighter still. This is starting to work. You want to make sure these are all you probably only need this because it's next to each other. Okay. And as simple as it looks here, that's how simple we want it. Got a few clicks that we don't need, Alex. All right, we've got one to get into the site instead of getting us straight to the navigation, and then the navigation. Okay, so we want to work on that. But you have things organized here, and this is how simple we want your site. Okay, color situation there. And maybe you want to try that in a very pale 10% of this or something, see what that looks like. All right, it's coming together. It's coming together. Okay. Try not to have a single word by itself. Okay, good. Good. Close it up a little bit. I'm not sure you're able to use that as far as, is that Marvel? That would be, copyrighted. Okay. Huh. Might be better if these are all on separate pages rather than a scroll and then to the same things. Think about that. All right, but it's working out and looking good. And I know exactly what you do. Okay, photographer, and editor. Okay, Lindsay, this is covering up this dear child. So we need to either bring it up here. You might have to forego something here or there, but I think, that's not as readable. Great image. I'm torn. I mean, Maybe the About Me needs to come over here. Maybe this needs to be centered. There's something about this layout being pushed all the way to the side like that. Maybe it comes over here and this comes over here. Check it out. This is working. Again, we don't want to cut faces, you guys. Don't cut faces off. This, tell me about this picture. Did you take it? I want to see some asset guides, all right, and more space like you have here. I want to see that space. And update the copyright. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm thinking Creative Core moves up here. Okay, or your name, or both if you can get that there. All right. It's going to be great when you finish. All right, Rachel, I know you've done a lot. You've spent a lot of time on your site, made a lot of edits. At least you listed a lot. That alone must have taken quite a bit of energy. Still want you to make selections, and here's the thing. It's working here on your mobile pretty well. It's a lot of scrolling, but it's working as far as how it's laid out, and that's super important. You might want to try left aligning that right to here. Keep the same amount of padding on both sides. This is a very clean page. There is something down here like this. I'm not sure that it belongs there. And close these up. Yeah, they can be smaller. Close them up because we want to reduce clicking and scrolling. Clicking and scrolling, that's everybody. This page goes into some detail, and that's fine. These are long. I would pull some lines out of each. Okay, just take some statements out instead of having the whole thing. Okay, so, I think there needs to be some space, but I like how you have this. I don't know that you need this in both places, but where you have a lot of scrolling, maybe you do. Okay. And we've got these things. So here's the thing, Rachel. I know it's hard, but you need to make choices. Seriously. You need to think of it like this. You know how this is so laid out, right? And how you think about design and these things. That's how you have to look at this page. This page has to feel right, okay? We can't just upload images, and I'll point out where you've done a great job. And if you've done this, that's awesome. If this is like hand illustrated or computer illustrated, that's great. This is good too, and so is this. Your social media gets it right. You spend a lot of time here, and that's interesting. That I want to look through. Why? Because it's organized. And even though you have all this content here, it's all contained and it's all considering itself together and what it looks like together. And so that's what's missing on the other pages. You have a lot of stuff here, and yes, you can use it because it's in a slider. But when we go to some of the other pages, maybe not the videography because you don't have as much of that. That works, actually. That page is good. The photography, probably. Let's look at the photography. Okay. It is better being in the sliders. That is true. We don't have asset guides, but maybe when we click on it. Okay. Good. All right. So that's working better. Maybe it's just the graphic design page for sure that needs to be better laid out. And you guys keep in mind, people don't want to scroll. This gets crowded, okay? There was a page. That's stacked a lot of font there. But you do tell us what you do, and that's great. This is a total change of color, but that's okay. This gets kind of stacked. Okay, so you're really narrowing it down. You really are. You've spent some time and you've got a lot to work through. I know. It's not easy. It is so hard because everything makes a difference, right? What it's next to, what you chose. Now you have to choose something different to go with it. It's a big job to edit that much content, but that's what you want to do. And, create a blog and start pushing it over there. And when you decide that you're changing something, go back to your blog and grab that image if it works better with something else. But yeah, it's just organizing, and I know it's tough, but you're doing a good job. Just hang in there. This hamburger is hard to see here. We should move it. Maybe this, I like that it's like on the building, but maybe it needs to not do that. This is a little hard to read, and especially when we get to your name. Okay. I think this either needs a rule around it. I don't think it's working with that background, and maybe it needs a black and white. Maybe it needs to be at the bottom, and I hope this is your image because it works really well. If not, go shoot one that's similar to it, even if you have to go to downtown Orlando. Just don't use sticks, don't use tripods, because then you have to have permission, right? Okay, yeah, hard to read your name there. That's one of the bigger things. That blue is kind of out of nowhere. Maybe you're looking at a red, and again, it's still a little hard to read, but seems more contained than it did on the desktop, but check it out. All right. Let's see. Nice the way this is left aligned, just the right amount of content, but we need to get that fixed. Either there is a page that has a ton of content on it, or it's just not going anywhere. It's not linked. So make sure you deal with that. This probably can be cut down. You've got 2 submits, right? Make one much smaller or something so they look different. Kind of liked that blue. Okay. All right, really close, neat examples like before, okay? And like I said, maybe they're there and they're just taking a long time to load, but either way, that needs to be fixed. Tara, I really, I was wondering about the research analyst part and how that fits in with your other things, and if it really should be in your tagline or if just media strategist or content creator. This gets busy with this being here, but I like how you are trying to organize this. And let's just have one about, okay? Instead of putting it in the drop down, it should go to your about page. As you can see, that gets a little confusing. Now these look like icons I want to click on. And instead, what I want you to do is take this off, and just where you have sample work, go ahead and in your asset guide, list your role. So if you were the photographer, it's going to be photography. If you were the writer, you're going to include that. So you don't need this page with icons. They're not going anywhere, and they don't fit your brand completely. So I don't think you need that. And once you get this cleaned up, you're going to be happy you did. This is just going to go to your portfolio page, I think. And then on that page, you could have sections and just a couple. Like you're going to have, 3, and then you're going to have the other category title, and 3, photography, 3, videography, or whatever. This is sort of with your brand. I don't feel like this is. Think about a brand guide. This, I would take that, go back to the original if you can, take this lettering and give yourself some padding here because it matches your brand. This can stay because it's a classic job. It's hard to read that. It could not get smaller than that for sure. This might be your brand, but a lot of what you have on here truly isn't. This isn't. It is something that people would use. Again, maybe it goes on a blog for you, and that background isn't working. So I think you need to go back to your background that you have on your other pages. This can work, but you would need an asset guide to tell us what your role was. This is really too much content to be able to read at that size, okay, for sure. And research analysts, if you did that on a job, just add that in the asset guide, okay? Too many different things. I like that, this, and this. Those are consistent. And that's what you need to start working on, is consistency, all right? Because you're all over the place with this and this. And like I say, if you want to put that in a blog and have a little story to go with it, great. But otherwise, they're not fitting together, okay? And it's important. It's, like your brand, and it all has to fit. Of course, these are beautiful. That and this, okay? And then we get into a little more everyday, okay? Because I can't see her eyes, right? So the lighting needed to be considered a little bit. You guys always put the light between the camera and your subject. If it's natural light, great, whatever it is. But the camera, we don't want silhouettes, and we've got to get the eyes lit. I know it can be hard, but face them towards the sun, even if the sun's in their eyes. You can take them under shade, you can take them under an awning, things like that, and it'll be a little more even, but you want them facing the light. It's one of the biggest mistakes that students make. That means it's made often. Let's use this font. Okay, let's be just 2 fonts throughout. This one and this one. Or this one and this one. Just 2. All right, it's coming together. I know you guys don't want to let go of some things, but you really have to just choose your very best works, all right? It's better to have a few good things than a lot of things, all right? George, I still, the layout, of course, but this is good, but I don't have navigation that I can find. And so even for one page, that needs to be updated. These will need to go to yours, and no content that isn't belonging to you, right? Want to see your work. If you are media, that should be capitalized, I believe. Also go through and use a spell checker, because this would have an apostrophe. So, okay, so you're talking about graphics and video service. So that should be up here somewhere. Let's not have this here. Let's instead have a contact page. So, all right. So yeah, we need that to say examples or portfolio or works, because this is fine, but I can't, that doesn't tell me all right, what it is. I know that's the name of your site. So this is your before. And I also can't get to your mobile. All right, so this page is great. That's terrific. There's no overlapping of text. Awesome. I could tell that makes a good graphic designer. Let's put that up there, that's what you do. Little work here. Maybe that's not working. This is fine. And then just put, down here, graphics or something. And maybe this isn't where this goes. All right. Maybe that's too much and should be on an about page. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So it's simple and it's working. Try not to have one word. The link works. And I was thinking you might be able to, put a little less here and bring this stuff up a little bit. So that you can get all this on one page, ideally, closer to it. And of course, we don't need this twice, and you don't need that twice, all right? And I know you can take care of that. Okay. Think about left aligning. It doesn't bother me because it's kind of campy. I'm not sure blue is campy, though, because that's professional, but that's okay. Awesome. That tells me what you do. Okay. You'll need more examples, but that's okay. It's okay to have just your best. And then just keep building. Like I say, keep everything sharp and in focus, and keep the light in front of the subject unless it's side lit and you have a little bit. Otherwise, it's a silhouette, and that's usually what you're going for. Okay, this works. It needs to come up higher. And I like the fonts and how they're working together. This I don't think needs to be bold here. It's looking as if it's bold too. I think you need to be careful with so many fonts. All right. And colors, be careful with that because this is bolded and it's not really working. You probably have, okay, there's a brand guide I want everybody to download so you can see what you can and cannot do with company logos like Twitter and Facebook. Again, you don't need to use, you can use your same fonts. All right, let's not jump around on fonts. This is now italic. Just use your font. It'll pull together nicely if you do. A little redundant, so this is different than the one you had. So really for you, it just needs to be more consistent, right? Smaller, larger fonts. This is cut off. Yeah, a little more editing. I feel like we have two of these. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. All right. So examples. We're going to need something that can show examples of marketing. Okay, so close that up, bring that down, and put your logo here. Okay, bring that up to here. This is going to be your logo. All right. Okay. All right, David, let's change this logo. This is all right. You have it justified right, but it's okay. This is a little hard to read. Okay. Instead of saying I want to make, just say it's a short for a feature horror film, okay? Or a short horror film. And this doesn't apply to you. That's a Wix background. Gotta fix that. All right, did we already look at this one? Thought I talked about it already. Okay. And make sure that your work is embedded instead of sending us to YouTube. Remember, this is a placeholder. It needs to go. I don't want to see these again with anybody. Okay, no placeholder text, no placeholder images. If I see them again, you guys, I can't pass you because that's a benchmark to make sure that you guys are, you know, at the very least taking out the template, okay? And I believe in you guys. You guys can do it, and you can do a great job, and I want to see you, you know, pushing on that. I know some of you are taking other classes, but I think online you're just taking one. So, all right, everybody, I like where you're going, and you know you've put in the content that you were to put in. You will be reviewing each other's sites this week, I think, or maybe it's next week after you revise it again. You'll have a revision with these changes. You'll submit that, and then your peers are going to evaluate your site, and you will evaluate a peer. All right. All right. I am happy with what you guys are doing. Alex, let's make sure this is all the same size, same spacing. Okay. And, you know, I just know you guys can pull these together, and I see some of you working so hard. And I do appreciate what you are doing. Okay. So everybody have a great week. If you have any questions, you can contact me. We can always have a one-on-one. All right. All right. Good luck, everybody.